Oh, no. I could get you.
Thank you, Yermo. Thank you very much. All right. Well, thanks for having me tonight. So my name's Andrew Glover, not Andre, as it was written up there. I'm the CTO of App47. We are a SaaS-based platform. We provide a mobile application management platform. That what that means is essentially after you build your app, we provide the infrastructure to enable you to deploy that app, gather analytics on how that app's used. We can push out and receive configuration for that app, and also we provide a level of security so that you can say that, you know, Yermo can't use this app, but of course Andy can. And we are a startup. We were founded in January, so when we got started, we had 3 tenets that we wanted to basically follow. And the first one is that you know, we are a seed round startup, so we have limited funding. So we had to be consciously aware of our cash. You know, we couldn't go out and buy a bunch of big servers, heavy hardware, and spend a lot of money on software licenses. The second thing we had to keep in mind is we had to build this platform extremely quick. When we started in January, the 2 founders, it was an idea. They didn't actually have a product, so consequently we had to quickly build and implement their idea on the cheap. And then last but not least, we had to actually build the real thing. We couldn't build a prototype with the notion of, you know, we'll rebuild it in 6 months or whatever it is. We actually had to build a legitimate app that is built to horizontally scale, because we certainly plan on having a whole lot of traffic. And here's where I can step back and actually, I forgot to mention this part. So we are a mobile applications management company, and the back end that we provide is hooked up, well, take a step back. We provide an SDK to app developers that you would then embed our SDK in your app, and consequently the app would report back to us, you know, various data usages, who's using it, where they're using it, how they're using it, and then we can also push data to that app, i.e. configuration values and whatnot. So we had to build an infrastructure that could scale out based on devices. And our target customers are big companies who would have hundreds of thousands of devices. So in order to meet those tenets, we first decided that we would leverage open source. We looked for communities that were vibrant, with a lot of momentum. And I'll go into some of the open source things we use, but that was our first tenet: is everything, as much as possible, see if we can get it for free. Secondly, we bet big on Ruby. Our entire back-end system is built leveraging Ruby. Obviously, I'm sure most people here are aware of Ruby. One of the founders and myself, we're Java guys, and this was a big bet, and I'm here to report that it paid off dramatically. Ruby enabled us to build this application extremely fast. And last but not least, we bet big on the cloud. We are leveraging the cloud everywhere. And so I'll get into that in a second. So our back-end system, again, we had to build something that we needed to scale horizontally, and it had to be extremely lightweight in that devices are sending us data, so that we opted to use a framework called Sinatra. And Sinatra is a Ruby-based DSL that allows you to define web endpoints. So it's a web framework, but it's very, very lightweight. It's the antithesis of something like Rails. There is no ORM. There's no views. I mean, there is, you can plug in views, but it's a stripped down framework. And the canonical Sinatra example is this. This is your hello world. So this is, if an HTTP GET comes to this server on the URI of hello or hi, it responds with hello world. The canonical App47 Sinatra app it's a put. We are a write-heavy back end. Obviously, all these devices are reporting to us, giving us various information, so we have a whole lot of puts and posts. in the App47 stuff that we do, we purposely wanted to be as lightweight as possible. We designed our framework to take incoming documents, in the case that they're either JSON documents or form posts. We add a little data to it so we can associate who this data came from. So we have the notion of agents, but then agents live on devices. So we'll append some more information and we'll quickly put it into a data store. That data store, I'll get to the data store in 1 second. So our Sinatra backend lives on Heroku. And Heroku, how many people are familiar with Heroku? Good, a few people. So Heroku is a platform as a service with deep roots in the Ruby community. With Heroku, you deploy via Git. So if you're using Git, you literally do a Git push to Heroku, and your application is live. Heroku scales horizontally quite nicely. It has this notion of dynos. And dynos are essentially web processes. So you can go to Heroku and essentially find out what's my load. And if my load is beyond some threshold that you deem important, you can fire up another dyno. And so that's your horizontal scaling. And those dynos cost you about 5 cents an hour. So that's for one dyno, that's $35 a month. Extremely affordable. So as I was getting to, we have a back end, and we persist all our data in a document-oriented database called mongoDB. And we liked Mongo for 3 primary reasons. First reason is that because it's a document-oriented database, it is schemaless. It's extremely flexible. If you remember, I said that when the founders got their seed round, it was an idea. They did not have an application, and we had a vision of what we wanted to build, but we knew it would most likely change by the day. So having a flexible schema was a huge benefit to us. It enabled us to evolve iteratively, and also continues to allow us to evolve iteratively. Second thing we really wanted was, as I said, we are a write-heavy application, on the back end at least. So we wanted something that was extremely fast in terms of writes. Now, I'm sure there's some MySQL and Oracle and traditional database people in the room. And all these other systems are also very efficient at writes, but they take usually specialized DBA skills. What's beautiful about something like MongoDB is it comes out of the box. Very little DBA-like skills are needed to get this thing up and running. And the third thing we really wanted was the ability to scale, again, horizontally easily. MongoDB shards quite easily. If you're familiar with relational sharding, it's a pain in the neck. Mongo, it comes out of the box. Also, Mongo supports replication seamlessly. We run our MongoDB instance on a service called mongoHQ. And they are much like Heroku. It's a platform as a service. And they take care of all the management of running in a Mongo instance. You go in there and sign up, and you can get free versions, or you can scale all the way up to heavily replicated, expensive versions. As I said, our Sinatra backend is extremely lightweight. We don't do any processing per se on the incoming data. We consciously get the data. We do one lookup to find out who's this data coming from. Is there additional device information that we know? Let's append it to the document, and we persist it immediately and return. Again, because we want a very, very light footprint for the actual device that our agent's running on. Consequently, we do provide some deep analytics in terms of the data we're getting. That's our value, one of the values we provide to our users. So we opted to decouple our whole notion of data analytics from the incoming data. And so consequently, we put a queue in between the two systems, if you will. And the system that we use for that queue is something called SQS. So this is a part of the Amazon Web Services suite. SQS stands for Simple Queue Service.